I used to be a reader. I received this variation of the same message surprisingly often. Used to be. Past tense. As though reading were a previous occupation, something they did in another life. And then comes the explanation. Work got busy, children arrived, university happened, burnout happened, life happened. Sometimes all of the above. What interests me is how guilty people sound when they say that, as though they've abandoned a moral responsibility, as though somewhere there is a disappointed librarian keeping score. I would like to reassure everyone that no such librarian exists. At least I hope not. The point is, a lot of adults stop reading. Not because they stopped loving books, but because adulthood has a remarkable ability to consume attention. And attention is what reading requires. I don't think enough people acknowledge this. Reading is not difficult. Finding the mental space to read can be. That's the difference. When people tell me they've stopped reading, they often describe the same experience. They buy books. They genuinely intend to read them. The books sit on a bedside table or a shelf or in increasingly ambitious stacks around the house. Then months pass, sometimes years. The books remain optimistic. The reader becomes less so. Eventually, the person concludes they are no longer a reader. I don't think that's true. I think many people confuse not reading with not being a reader. Those are again different things. A pianist who hasn't touched a piano in 6 months is still a musician. Someone who hasn't gone swimming recently doesn't forget how water works. Reading is not an identity you lose because life became complicated. It's a relationship that sometimes goes quiet. One of the problems is that many adults try to return to reading the way people return to exercise after seeing an alarming article online. They immediately create a program, 12 books a month, a reading challenge, a spreadsheet, a tracking app, goals, targets, metrics. Reading, which was once a source of pleasure, suddenly acquires performance reviews. And then people wonder why it feels exhausting. Bibliotherapy approaches the problem differently. The question isn't how do I read more? The question is what kind of book might meet me where I am right now? The kind of book that I need. Those are not the same question. Imagine someone who hasn't read consistently in 10 years. They're exhausted, their attention span feels fractured, work is demanding, life is noisy. Then someone hands them an 800-page Russian novel and tells them this is the correct way to return to reading. It's an act of optimism, certainly, possibly violence. The point is, readers often choose books based on who they think they should be rather than who they actually are. And bibliotherapy is much more interested in the second person. The actual person, the tired person, the distracted, the overwhelmed person. The person reading 3 pages and immediately checking their phone, which for the record is a very modern reading experience. One of the best pieces of reading advice I've ever encountered comes from the writer Daniel Pennack. In his wonderful little book, The Rights of the Reader, he argues that readers have the right to skip pages, the right not to finish books, and the right to read whatever they like. This sounds obvious until you realize how many adults behave as though reading requires permission, as though every book must be completed, as though every reading choice must be intellectually defensible. Sometimes the right book is simply the book you'll actually read, and that's enough. The other thing I'd say to former reader is this: don't start where you left off. Start where you are. The book that worked for you at 20 may not be the book you need at 40. 20 years have gone and you have changed. Sometimes a lot. And change is not necessarily bad. The novel that once felt profound may now feel exhausting. A completely different kind of book may suddenly make more sense. That's not failure, that's life. You've changed. Your reading life should change too. I think this is one reason bibliotherapy feels so helpful to me. It assumes there's no such thing as being too late. No deadline, no reading quota, no punishment for absence. Just one question. What do you need right now? And what book might help? Sometimes the journey back into reading begins with a single chapter, sometimes a poem, sometimes 10 pages before bed. Nothing too big. Nothing worthy of a social media announcement. Just a silent return. Most meaningful things begin that way. If you've stopped reading, I don't think books are angry with you. They're remarkably patient. More patient than humans. They've been waiting on shelves for centuries. They can probably wait a little longer. But I suspect they'll be pleased to see you when you come back. I will come back tomorrow. I hope you do too.